Hi, I'm Benji Hardy with the Arkansas Times. It's February 1st, 2016, and today we're reporting from Iowa, of course, for the Iowa caucuses this evening. Everyone's eyes in the country are turned up here, which is holding its first in the nation electoral contest, only hours before a major winter storm is set to hit the state. We'll start on the Democratic side. Hillary Clinton remains the favorite to win, but not by much, at least if you're looking at poll numbers. Polling averages have Hillary at around 46%, and Bernie's right behind her at around 45%. Looking forward to the next nominating contest in New Hampshire, Sanders has a substantial lead there, but beginning with the primary after that, in South Carolina, Clinton's prospects improve since she does better with non-white voters and in the South in general. But if Sanders manages to win Iowa tonight and then takes New Hampshire, as seems likely, then he'll have quite a surge of momentum moving into the rest of the nation. Meanwhile, on the Republican side, Donald Trump still seems likely to sweep the caucuses, with almost a third of Iowa Republicans saying that they plan to support him tonight. In the second place is Texas Senator Ted Cruz, polling at around 25%, which is well above his next tier of rivals. That includes Marco Rubio, who's polling in third place and who has hopes of solidifying the Republican establishment behind him as the alternative to Trump or Cruz. But to do so, Rubio will need to score a solid, respectable third place in Iowa this evening. At least that's conventional wisdom. He is likely going to finish third, but his rivals for the establishment mantle aren't far behind. That includes Jeb Bush, Chris Christie, and John Kasich. They're hoping that Rubio's showing tonight isn't as strong as the polls are predicting. But with the GOP field this crowded, even now, and with an election season this bizarre in general, expectations are still fluid, and there's still some that are predicting that Iowa voters will surprise everybody and reject Trump tonight when push really comes to shove at the caucuses. Sounds like wishful thinking, but we will see. Speaking of wishful thinking, Mike Huckabee is still in the race for the time being, although it's hard to imagine him staying on the campaign trail much longer if he doesn't pull off an upset tonight. That has people wondering who the former Arkansas governor will endorse if he does leave the race this week. Because the Donald Trump campaign is planning on holding a rally in Little Rock on Wednesday, some election watchers are wondering if Huckabee could be planning to surprise everyone with an endorsement of Trump at that rally. This is nothing but speculation. It's a pretty wild idea considering Huckabee's entire political identity is wrapped up in his Baptist faith, and Trump is a three-time divorcee with a history of liberal or at least ambiguous views on certain social issues, including abortion. Still, the timing is interesting, and that's fueled the speculation. Huckabee sought to quash those rumors over the weekend, saying that he has no plans to be in Little Rock at the same time as Trump, that he's focused entirely on what's happening in the race for Iowa. Moving on, today is also a big day for the future of the private option, Arkansas's expansion of Medicaid to cover some 250,000 low-income Arkansans. Governor Asa Hutchinson is meeting with officials from the Federal Department of Health and Human Services today in Washington to negotiate revisions to the private option. Although Hutchinson, a Republican, continues to be officially opposed to Obamacare, he wants to continue the private option, which is made possible with Obamacare. However, Hutchinson wants certain tweaks to the policy to make it somewhat more conservative. Among the changes that he says he'll be seeking from HHS Secretary Sylvia Burwell, he'll want to require work training referrals rather than work requirements per se, which federal authorities have said they won't accept as a state's plan for Medicaid expansion. Hutchinson just wants to make sure that beneficiaries are referred to job training programs to encourage them to work. Although most beneficiaries of the private option in Arkansas do work, just as an aside. Hutchinson would also like to see increased cost sharing from beneficiaries, perhaps in the form of small premiums or copays. Some of that is already written in place in the policy, but he'll want to expand the amount of cost sharing that beneficiaries are seeing and at what income levels. He's also seeking incentives for beneficiaries to comply with wellness measures from their doctor, including enhanced benefits not normally included in Medicaid, like vision and dental. And finally, Hutchinson is looking to impose an asset test, meaning that Medicaid would exclude people with low incomes but with assets above a certain level. That proposal is almost certain the federal authorities will reject. They've said in the past that they don't want to see an asset test in the Medicaid program. Finally, in other health news, flu deaths in Arkansas appear to be way down this season. 3 flu-related deaths have occurred in the state since the flu season began, according to a report issued last week by the Arkansas Department of Health. All 3 were adults, and the report doesn't say whether or not they had been given flu vaccines. But we do know that last year, during the 2014-15 flu season, more than 100 Arkansans died from flu-related causes. So good news there. That the deaths are down, that is. That's it for today. Back tomorrow.